Oh. Let it know.
Okay.
All right, I'm calling the Plan Commission of August 5th, 2024 to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Thusius.
Here.
Commissioner Francois. Commissioner Brocious.
Here.
Trustee Brunner. Trustee Kettlebaiter.
Here.
President Langfeld.
Here. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Plan Commission on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes. While the Plan Commission encourages input from residents, it may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. Is there anybody here that would like to speak? Michael?
Hi, Seth.
Can you turn on the mic?
I have two small, quick questions concerning the lighting at the Pine Meadows development. The first one being the pole-mounted fixture that they're putting up. Inside of the packet, it sounded like she was just the planner. I don't know where it came from, but the limitation would be 0.5 foot candles at the lot line. And inside of our ordinance, we require full cutoff fixtures. And the pole top fixture that they're putting on isn't a full cutoff fixture. I mean, it's barely doing some above 90 degrees going up. I mean, it's really close. But when I saw it, I'm like, I don't think this is a full cutoff fixture. But I wasn't sure why that part of the ordinance or lighting ordinance wasn't followed, or if that was part of the SIP or what was going on with regard to that. I mean, it's not a horrible fixture. It's kind of interesting. It actually has a switch in it. You can switch it from 3000K to 4000K. You can actually change the color of it. One of the first times I've seen that on a commercial fixture, so that's kind of interesting. My second question is just the lighting on the building. I wasn't sure if those lights were going to be able to be switched by the residents or if they were permanently on, especially that back row behind there. There's like 7 of them. Just be a lot of light. People are trying to sleep. We don't know about the door lighting. And those are really my two questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Anybody on the computer?
Nope.
All righty, we'll go to general business. Approval of the minutes from July 1st, 2024 Plan Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July 1st.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. 2, discussion and possible action regarding specific implementation plan Pine Meadows. You guys would like to come up there?
Just let me know if there's a certain page you want this on. I did leave a laser pointer there for you. Or...
My name is Patrick Egan. I'm with the design engineering project. Let me give you a summary. You've seen this multiple times now. It's a 7-unit townhome building to be located in the lower left-hand corner. It's actually the southeast corner of the property. It would be a 2-story unit matching the construction size, style of the existing buildings there. Same materials, same sort of color palette. We're expanding parking on the front for the new tenants. Site lighting, we're basically matching the general theme and layout of what's in the park. We should be following the ordinance, the city ordinances for cutoff and threshold. So you're aware. I can check with the person who I had design it, which was Spectrum Insight Lighting. They're located out of Waukesha. They are a lighting distributor and supplier. They do photometrics, so they should be using city ordinances. They do this in multiple municipalities, so they should have followed.
And you talk, that would be the answer to the pole mounted one?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I know we weren't exceeding the 0.5 foot candles property limits, but with respect to full cutoff, I could check to see what's happening there.
Right, how about the other one, the lighting on the
The
building?
lighting in the back is intended to be switched by the user.
Okay.
So it's not intended to be on all the time, it's if you need light.
Okay.
Like out at night, you can turn it on, it's not. Fully self-operated.
Can I answer your questions, Michael?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, there's, the ones in back are close of the ordinance as well. I mean, I don't know. Our ordinance gets really funky with things like that. Like, since those were gonna be like the pole mounted light.
In the back?
Yeah, like in the back, it looked like it was the same fixture.
No, it should be a wall mounted Scots.
Oh, then that's not what was in the thing. I thought it was like the same. If you pull down just a little bit more, Bobby.
The next one here.
He made it look like it was the same as the top one, like the pull mounted one. That one on the bottom is the under door one. I thought it was gonna be exactly like the top of the back. That's why it was like, wow, you're putting like 2,500 lumen thing on the back. I was like, that's kind of a lot.
No.
That's what that. Okay, then that's off a little bit then on that.
Yeah, I can get that clarified. It's in the revision.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, it was gonna be this, like the front one on the pole is gonna be 60 watts and the ones in the back are gonna be 30 watts, but it's gonna be the same thing. And I'm like, okay, well, that's all.
No,
They like a lot of power. Okay, so,
building model full call. Okay, fine with the user.
okay, then that's, all right, well, they're, okay.
The intent is to have it similar to the other units that are already there with the task lighting per se. And stuff.
How do you mean task lighting? Like,
If you need it, you turn it on. If you don't need it, you shut it off.
okay, so like in the front of the building, like it looked like there was only one above each entrance.
Kind of like the task lighting switched out right that you would have. But
Yeah, but like which user would control it? Some of them are two doors, and there's just one light.
There'd be one place next to each door, is that correct? Thought that was the plan.
I actually had one center, I thought it was solved, but we can switch it to where we have one for each user.
Okay.
But those would be within that overall canopy.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly, yeah, and they were not very, I mean, they were like 800. Gigantic, it was like the door light, I just wasn't sure if they were switched or not. So I went over there and looked and you would like lights for every single user, like at all the other places, like they had thrown individual.
Yeah, and that's what it was. So whether it be photo cell, whether it be task lighting, the intent of it is to be similar to others.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you.
Do we need to know anything? Not that it looks like it's not shown. But, they're labeled as other kind of lakes. In that.
Well, they're not, they'll have to follow order. We are not, that's not one of the waivers that they're asking for, and we give them, so.
So we don't need to.
No, we don't need any action because they have to follow.
Right, so if that needs a revision, we'll revise it, file it recently. I assume that we do it for like a staff.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about sidewall, Randy?
Sure, I mean, overall, I mean, I think we're looking at, I forget the correct number of stalls, I think it's like 17. Additional parking stalls, put everything in compliance with the parking regulations, to address stormwater requirements. We're going to look at permeable asphalt or concrete, which will then drain, everything drains to the northeast portion of the site, the rear side of the building. We'll be collecting the downspouts, getting down to the infiltration basin, and meeting all stormwater requirements for the development.
Any questions?
So you're gonna be draining towards the Hillman?
No, so the east side of the building will be collected and drained into the infiltration basin. Once that fills up, it ultimately all goes up to the north, to the public street.
Okay.
So no, everything drains from south to north on this.
We did run this by Town and Country Engineering and they were good with it. They recommended approval for the stormwater part.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, do I have a motion? In the positive, please. Doug,
I'll make a motion to approve the project as presented.
And I'll second it.
right, a motion and second discussion. Kevin?
Yeah, in February, Jay, the SPY recommended board deny the approval of the DEP. And yet the board approved it. Can you just summarize for me how the board made that decision despite our recommendation?
Well, like with all committees,
I-
there gets recommendations, so that's it. I think the board or, and I'm speaking on, for myself and what the majority, voted. That they looked at the bigger picture of this, that this is a piece of property that really has no other purpose than for this type of development. It fits into the land use, part of it. There's a need for housing in the community. There's an economic development piece to it, of bringing more housing units here, brings in more taxes, brings in more people to go for business. So I think they took a bigger picture look at it. And without this, I don't think anybody can come up with what else would be going into that site. So the option I think they looked at is we put 7 more housing units in there, or we leave it a lot and it gets mowed once a month. And that's where it stays. So I think that's where I would, and I guess Judy and Doug can speak in since they also were part of the discussion, but I think that would be a summary of it in a nutshell.
And I'll ditto that pretty much right on. And the tax dollars was one of my big things, is because you had said that the tax revenue is gonna be huge. And I don't know what else we can do to get that revenue for Crestlands.
And then just follow.
Sure.
And then this requires a higher level of quality, I think, design for this zoning requirement. Was that addressed to the board? How did the board see it?
Well, I personally see it as technically they wouldn't have to do the stormwater. It's building small enough that our village engineer required it. So I think that is a plus to that development, because another development could go in that fits there and, you know, necessarily doesn't have to do the stormwater. So I think that's unadded to it. But I think, you know, I think people are reading that ordinance for purpose. I think if you look at the intent of the ordinance, it probably fits a little bit better in there with economic development and structure. And I think we're looking at trying to do infill as much as we can. That, and we'll be discussing it in your part about the whole talk about, you know, preserving farmland and stuff like that. So I think it's just made sense to everybody that this is a good development for this piece of property. So,
one question, one comment. So on the parking, do you know if it's a half space, do we round down or up? It looks like they provide 17 spaces, and according to our ordinance, it'd be 17.
Yeah, Sonia's memo says 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't round out 16 anyway. And then it's not addressing here. Does the parkland fee in lieu of dedication apply to something like this, or the zoning to more intensive development? Do they have to pay?
I believe this one, if I remember, this one.
This is actually a discussion we're having where our ordinance, I think currently is just for like new, land division. Thank you. Yes. And since.
Yeah, I don't know if different. The one that the big question came in the other apartment building that was adding 10 more units to already their footprint, that does not fall into that. That's this time.
In the ordinance, it talks about, it's calculated on this land division, but then if the ultimate number of units is different than what the calculation is based on, who you're supposed to pay.
Yeah,
I know it's a discussion that like Mike Axon is bringing up, for parks, like why shouldn't this have to pay that?
That's my
philosophy
as well.
But currently, I think as it's written, it doesn't pertain to it.
It's definitely a great thing, but I think that is correct. Don?
I'll just make a couple of comments while I'm in favor of it. I do think it's responsible infill. I think it's affordable housing for 7 families. I think
it fits, like when I look at that property, when I visit Bourbon Road, when I look at the site, it looks like it's missing one building. I think it was always set for 4. I think it's being done responsibly, and I think it's more taxpayers, more water sewer users, and more visitors to our businesses, so that's why I'm in favor.
Any other comments or questions? Let's do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Brochus,
Yes.
trustee Brunner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
No.
trustee Calvater,
Yes.
Commissioner Enthusiast,
No,
President Langfeld.
Yes. Motion passes. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you a quick question. Do there regionally? Yeah, so will this automatically go in the agenda of the village board again?
It will, but probably though, we probably won't put, we are having a extra village board meeting on the 12th. I don't think it's scheduled for that, so it'll be the regular one.
26th.
The 26th.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Yeah, and if you can clarify the lighting part, that will be helpful.
before the.
Yeah, sure. All right, thank you.
did you say August 26th?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay, discussion and possible action on the village comprehensive plan, chapter 2. We have our star pupil here. Very nice, nicely done. All right, so I think I'm gonna just turn it over to Kevin. I think it was pretty well clear what the suggestions and where direction he's looking for.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thanks. Yeah, I think as you probably read it, if you read it, went through it, I made sort of more questions and answers, I guess, for discussion purposes, and then wherever the commission says we take it, I figured the next step would be to write in some specifics. It was kind of fun because it occurred to me as I read this, we really, like when you read it, it's like one thing, and it occurred to me that, we certainly I don't feel like we're meeting any sort of agricultural objectives. And we can sort of counter that. And so, I guess I'll start right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right at the first several comments. I can ignore the ones that were sort of corrections. But at the very top, chapter 2, I do recommend adding recreation to this segment, to this section, and we can put something at the end. Others disagree. So
No, I think it is missing, because if you look up at the heading, it has recreation.
Well, you wrote it in there.
No, he did the red. So up on top is what it's always said. So for some reason, right?
No, I think that's just an autofill in the header, is it not?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
Oh.
No, actually, no, in the PDF it is there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Actually, you did that.
No, he did correct it.
Oh.
Chapter 2 isn't.
It's at the same spot.
No, it's not on the comp plan.
PDF.
that I have.
It's on my PDF.
It's on your PDF, but. I'm talking, I think the existing comp plan does not have.
Oh, then it is an autofill. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So anyways, regardless.
Yeah, it should be, yes, sorry.
So jumping ahead just for a second on that one. I think you need to have we need to have a recreation subsection.
Yeah,
I put in a.
Well, I see it in there, but you have a comment that now going,
no, he has the heading, he just didn't do the work on it until he knew we were going to approve it, because he volunteered.
no, I get it, that was just a comment.
Oh,
So, okay, agreed, and we'll.
and we agree that you can write one up for us.
Okay. I've agreed to do this. Okay, so then I guess we'll head into the agricultural section. What else would you put in back? Yeah, we're going to say what's my notes here. So agricultural, the first part here, does the village want to retain? Do we think the village wants to retain an agricultural preservation? The idea that we are going to preserve as a village agriculture?
I think why that's there is that if we want to stop a development within our 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something in the comprehensive plan that gives us justification. Now, I think you're right. I would like to see the wording a little different, that we would preserve it unless it's, higher density development, some wording like that. To take it away, that would not just farmland as a general, but if someone wants to put up, 10 houses on 20 acres. We may want to try to stop that from happening, and something in our comprehensive plan would give us a little bit more justification for taking that stance. Does that make sense?
It does.
But I hear what you're saying, that it should be a blank statement.
So with that sentence. Protect agricultural land to resources in areas of village planning area until such time as urban development served by the public sanitary sewer and water system in the village is warranted. Honestly, that doesn't, I know it's a goal, but it doesn't really explain it. It doesn't really say what, I mean, if you're using words like is warranted, that's a very subjective
I agree.
term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's meant to be a subjective term. But I don't know, I have kind of conflicting thoughts about this particular section. Because if a farmer wants to sell land to a developer within 1.5 miles outside of the village of Cross Plains, normally we don't say anything about it, but.
Well, see, that's because they haven't been to where there's a conflict.
Right.
But let me just give you an example. Let's say the Xander development wasn't, let's just say that was still farm before Creek Crossing. I would fight if that was going to be a town development right there. If they were gonna sell 2-acre lots. In that farm, for example, because that would block the village from growing in that direction. And I think that would be one that I would think we would fight.
So you're not fighting to not allow it, you're fighting to.
Well, it's not allowing it. Now everybody has different reasons why. Some people will say that's not a good use of losing farmland for houses on 2 acres. We need to be more dense now. Dane County's becoming very popular. I mean, there's a lot of arguments to do it.
Right.
So, and I'm just giving you an example of where, and we kind of did that when Myers Farm, remember, they just came in not too long ago, and they wanted to, do a subdivision, and their road was we wouldn't have been able to put a road all the way through that we had in our comprehensive plan to get to the top. And we said, no, you've got to give us more space. Right. And they agreed, modified. So that's what I'm talking about. You want to have some control of the future of Cross Plains.
So is this goal stated here what you're talking about?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I think Kevin's position, I agree with. We shouldn't be just overall saying, hey, we want farmland, right? And I don't think we should say, hey, overall, we don't want county subdivisions either. We have it where there's smart planning, and that's what I think we have to do. And there's different factors that go into that.
And by doing this, you feel like this protects us and gives us a say.
If we word it a little different.
Right.
Because right now I'm with Kevin, the way this is worded, potentially that could be used against us for any type of growth. If we say we are protecting at all costs farmland and we want to develop farmland, then we're against our comprehensive plan. So you have to have some leeway, but I think we do say that we do want, I think everybody feels that you need farmland somewhere, right?
But within the village, but yeah, so that's I guess that's what happened, is that it's not within the village limits, but within that mile and a half boundary outside of the
Right.
village. Okay.
And we only, and this is where I'll get back to it, we're really not preserving farmland. This is more of a land use issue. What you just said, Jay, is a land use issue.
Correct.
We're just trying to protect land use outside the village. And that shows up in land use, different place.
That's
So we're really not preserving ag. We're just
That's true.
preserving ag until we need it. Or we're preserving ag close to us until we need it for land, different land. So that's something, it's not ag preservation. It
Gotcha.
is really preservation of space.
Gotcha, I agree with that, that's true. Judy, did you have something?
No, but I'm trying to think, like, when we bought the farm, or we gave the Myers 500,000 because of their cows, would that fall on here?
No,
No?
no, that was that
Well,
was
but that
phosphorus.
was like egg, but phosphorus and egg.
Yeah, but that was a different,
Okay.
like, the state required us to remove
Right.
so many pounds of phosphorus.
Right.
One of the options was to buy out a farm's,
Right,
we didn't buy out the farm, we bought
cows.
the cows, basically. We didn't buy the cows, we just told them that they were gonna farm. We gave them money for not farming.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a
Well, I
different
didn't know
thing.
if that would fall in, like that kind of situation fall in here or not.
I think there's a better one somewhere else, but we'd have to check. I hear what you're saying, though. Should we just think about that one a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing and we can move on, because it could be a discussion all night long.
Yeah.
And the rain will come and rain. Yeah, but I think the egg preservation, I think we all see use for it. There's one, I think one, maybe two what they call high quality, egg fields on a good farm, and then I think maybe over on Bullis Brother, there's a piece, Fescue Brother. And I think that makes sense to maybe preserve those in the village, or at least preserve it as open space, or something other way. It doesn't have to be ag land. So again, I think it comes down to space more than use.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then two, the rest of this chapter really gets into sort of being a hub, if you will, for things like farmers markets and other, direct marketing for consumers. And I mean, I don't see that being us. I mean, allowing space for a farmer's market is one thing, but we're not trying to, sort of drive the farm business.
No,
We're not like in Middleton.
but I think our comprehensive plan should allow that's allowable to do. You see,
I don't disagree with that.
yeah, I think that's more what, not that we want to get into it, but we want to make sure that when we start talking about, for example, zoning or what can happen down in Xander Park, that if we want some agriculture to be there, that's part of it.
Well, one comment I have to kind of build on all this is, in some ways, we are trying to preserve farmland, not within the village, but what we're trying to do is say, okay, if there's gonna be 200 housing units built in this area, we'd rather have it on a smaller piece in the village served by urban services on fewer acres. And that thus preserves the next farm over from also being housing.
Yeah.
So instead of having 3 big rural residential subdivisions, we meet that need with one dense compact urban subdivision that preserves the farm. That's one way.
In the short term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's logic. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too, so. Judy?
But thinking about that, because at one point in time, when we talked about Weber's Hill, we were gonna do 2 to 5 acre lots up there, remember way back when?
Well, yeah, that was what he's done.
Right, but.
And we didn't,
But we thought there could be a need for that, and we see in Champions Run and we see in Airport Road, there are some needs for that.
right, but you just have to be cautious that we don't box in the village.
I will, if we're all we're gonna just cruise past ag then for now.
Yeah, we can.
I'll be a little bit more opinionated if you want in the next one.
Yeah, do that.
Can I just make one comment more about ag, it's at the end, about the schools? That whole, paragraph on promote direct marketing for consumers. The point B was bringing in the schools. We have zero control over what Middleton Cross Plains does. Should that even be part of our comprehensive plan?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because if the schools want to be partner, we want to partner up, it's there. It's there as in the plan that we want to do that or allow that to do that. Why wouldn't we do it? Would you be opposed to it?
No, not at all, but I just,
What's the village's role in that process?
right,
It's the school district that farms, how does the village insert itself?
exactly.
I agree.
But the thing is, this is a comprehensive plan for 10 years from now. So
Right.
maybe in 5 years, Park School and Glacier wants to come up with us and use put a plot in our community gardens or something. Or they wanna put up a greenhouse and grow lettuce and then serve it to the students, so it's fresh. You know, some of the school districts are doing that now, they're growing some of their own food inside. I don't see a reason to take it out. Because why would we wanna restrict it? The school district might wanna partner with us and we may wanna partner with them.
I don't
So-
think taking it out restricts it, but I just don't see a need for it within the comprehensive plan. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
It's what's the village, can the village play a role in this? I mean, the lead into that section says. Here are some ways in which the village can contribute to these efforts, and A, B, and C. All specifically have things that are within the village's control, or potentially within the village's control. D, I agree with you totally, but is there any role the village can play in that? If there is, it's not in the document as it's now. I think that's what the issue is.
I think we can. I think we could zone, if Park School wants to put a greenhouse in or put in that honic system in there, it might be a zoning thing that we have to work with them on.
If we come up with some language, I think we need to have some language in there that shows what the village could potentially do, because right now it doesn't actually say what the village could do. You know, it's listed out there. Here's some things the village could do. Get to that, it doesn't say.
There is a section under other, like natural resources, has a goal and objectives. You really don't see that for the agricultural part. So I guess maybe what I'm hearing here generally is that we're super, we have the policies and objectives, but we're pretty passive on preservation. We're not actively doing, we might look at a couple of policies, but we don't really have like, I don't know. When you get to natural resources, there are very clear objectives. I'd say these are a little bit more loose. And so maybe that's the way I will take this is agriculture will allow for it, will be passive, will not say that the village is going to go meet with the school district and the restaurants or the farmers, but we'll keep it in there. It's sort of like, in with the whole complex, and what can it hurt?
It's a CYA.
Yeah, it is a bit of a CYA thing. As long as we don't have
Already does.
goals.
St. Francis already does.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I think that's a direction that schools are going, to be honest with you.
They have a new nutrition coordinator.
Yeah.
Who's lives
Well, they
right
have a
there.
garden, St. Francis has a
Yeah.
garden, the students do.
And there's a company sells a kit of that hydroponic and they've taken a whole classroom and just turned it in and they produce enough vegetables for the school for their salads and stuff.
But if Glacier or Park decide they want to put a garden on their property, we're not gonna stop them from doing that.
I don't know, some of the zoning might. Our zoning is pretty tight. I don't know if we would allow under that zoning code to production. That would be considered production. I don't know, the thing is, I guess I just don't see a reason to remove it, because I don't know what's gonna happen 10 years from now, and
I just see it not having any relevance to what this is talking about, but that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
Just a point.
So I'm passive supporter more than active participants in some of this.
yeah.
All right, so natural resources, I guess is next. If anybody can throw in a comment at any point, but if not, we'll go down to drainage basin. I don't know if we have a newer one than 96.
Didn't we just approve the stormwater plan? Isn't it one that every 5 years we have to fill out that application? Didn't we just approve money for that? at the board the last meeting?
Yeah.
I think we did, where,
This is the last one I could find.
I think we have a storm management plan, I think we do. And I think we just approved, some money for it.
$5,000.
I will check on the date for that for you, Kevin.
Thank you.
That was for the sewer system. We just did it.
No, that was to do capital, I'm talking about the DNR.
Like a permit, there's a 5-year.
Yeah, there's a
permit.
permit that comes up every 5 years. We had until December of 2025 to get it done. And I thought that had to do with stormwater.
That's the wastewater treatment plant's discharge permit into the creek.
Either way, I will
Yeah, we'll-
verify we have a Marty somewhere.
I didn't find much else in here, the rest of this page except for updating, and then. I sort of I put a statement in there because it seems like we're always fighting slopes. And the narrow floor and sort of the narrowness of which the village has to work with right there. I'm happy to keep it, but I'm also happy to take comments.
No, I think that's, one that we should, talk about a little bit.
Rare species can be updated by our consultant or somebody else in our position to get NHI data.
Now, can someone explain why we have that in here? I have no idea why we have, well, how does that have anything to do with the comprehensive plan?
If you could take it, if you take it out and put it in an appendix. Anytime you work in an area, you have to deal with the species. So I don't know if we have to have it every time we do, but the developer has to, and we should be aware. I don't know, I use this all the time at work, but that's just.
Yeah, that's the whole thing I thought, okay, why is this in a comprehensive plan? Because I would imagine they come and go probably every year, they add things and take things off, don't they?
It's not that. It's, you might get one or two.
And I thought I saw honeysuckle on here. That was,
It's a native and stuff.
like I said, I, one way or the other doesn't matter, I was just curious why this was in the comprehensive plan.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think paddlefish is anything we're gonna be dealing with.
Hairy wild petunia, that's nice.
I mean,
We have one.
we don't have Eastern mergansers. I don't know, like I said, I kind of chuckled at some of them.
Eastern Mississauga, that's a rattlesnake.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, that one.
We have any black buffalo?
Or black terns, I don't know.
They have black ferns at the farms sometimes too.
Yeah, but that's not us.
Well, yeah, I will ask then, we either ask to get it updated or if the consultant says, just, they don't do this anymore, we'll just remove it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to keep it. And it's a general, it's, within like 6 miles, basically, it's within the townships we connect to, so it's really a macro analysis.
Okay.
They can't give you specific data, it's not publicly. So then if we kind of move down to, any comments? I'm just gonna keep moving. All right, water quality corridor. The village will oppose any development proposed by this corridor except those that are in support of existing agricultural operations. Well, what do you feel?
I'm trying, it's been a long time since I've been in there. We did that big study when we moved the creek on the whole water quality corridor, so I'm not exactly, I'd have to read that again.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We still have the water quality corridor as it was passed by referendum a decade and a half ago or whatever. Did that get repealed?
No, what happened was, that was not a binding referendum.
So the water quality corridor still exists in municipal ordinance. The reason I asked that is because when I open up the ordinances,
4318.
8319.
Yeah, 8319, it, the section is still in there, but when you go in the table of contents, it says 8319 is reserved, which usually means it's repealed.
Yeah, can I speak to that real quick?
Sure.
I was gonna mention that, 'cause I heard you talking about it earlier. Sometimes I go out like once a year and just grab every single ordinance on there, and that we have on the website, so in case they get updated, it's gonna have a yearly historical like picture of it. And in 8319, you were right, in an older version, does not exist in there, that's why it says reserved. What I think happened, why it's in there is because I think we updated chapter 83 in its entirety, something was changed. I don't know which administrator did, I think somebody went out and grabbed an old copy of 83, changed what they did. The village repealed and recreated 83, and the water party quarter got reintroduced.
2021.
Got reintroduced, it got put in by accident, because they didn't take the most updated version of chapter 83, they went back to one that had it in there. You see what I'm saying? That's why it says reserved, but it was still down at the bottom, it got confused, so I think it was repealed, and I think it accidentally got put back in, because it was they didn't know that they were putting it back.
When I did a Google search, I found something that said, yeah, 2021, it was, yeah, ordinance to repeal and recreate 83.
Yeah, the
that
whole
was it.
chapter,
Right, the whole chapter, I think it was a 2021.
and that's when I think it got reintroduced.
What section is that then? 80?
Yeah, I don't know, water quality coming, I would have been president.
So that needs to go back to saying reserved.
Well, it's
Just
in
like-
table contents, it says reserve, but down in the body, 8319 is the whole.
So it's just the table of contents is wrong.
Well,
Well,
It depends on which way you look
okay,
at it.
are you saying the ordinance that's in there is the old one that was accidentally put back in, or are you saying it was redone in 2021? I'm getting confused.
I think what happened was at some point before 2021, that section, somebody, the village board voted it out.
Okay, so,
So that's when it got put reserved, but then in 2021, a different section of chapter 83 was being changed. It wasn't anything to do with the water quality corridor. We were changing something else, maybe to do with the infiltration. I think it was the infiltration, like we couldn't get 100%.
oh, that's right, yes.
I think
Yes,
we changed
okay.
that in 2021, but what
Gotcha.
happened was Bill went back and got an older version of chapter 83 that had the water quality corridor in it.
Oh,
Changed the infiltration stuff. We repealed the whole chapter and recreated it, so it got put back in accidentally as an ordinance, because he didn't get the version that had it removed. Because on their server, they have a bunch of different versions. I ran into that problem once with Brian. He went back and grabbed an older version, something like, what are you reading? And because on their staff server, they
didn't have it updated.
Yeah, there's like a million versions of everything.
All right, well, we're gonna have to, but your feeling is the water corridor is no longer in existence.
Well, I think the board removed it at one point and then accidentally put it back in.
Well, we wouldn't have accidentally put it back in.
well, I think you passed an ordinance.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
it exists.
It is on the
okay.
website. It is actually in the ordinance right now, because we repealed that whole chapter and approved it, even if we didn't know we were doing it, we did it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Your answer.
So I
We
can-
didn't know we were doing it, we did.
So we even need action to like remove it again.
We would, because that's what you're talking about, like in the comprehensive plan, since all that stuff is in there, I think it's because it was an ordinance at one time.
Okay, well, we'll have to answer your question, Kevin, I guess we'll have to read it, because,
Can of worms.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and I'll go back and look at like my 2020 version of the ordinance and see it, but I think I already did once, I was like, this wasn't in here that magically appeared.
Well, and what's interesting too is, if that was in existence when Creek Crossing was approved, Creek Crossing could not have been approved as designed, because some of those lots, including the building envelopes, are within 150 feet of the center line of the creek.
And that is what you are also correct of. I spoke to Bill about that because I found that in there, not knowing that it had been actually put into ordinance. And I was like, Bill, how did those lots that are up by the edge get approved in Creek Crossing if you can't build within 150 feet of the creek? And Bill just kind of went, oh, well, I didn't read that. He was like, I hoped our consultants would catch that. Well, then I figured out it's probably because the consultant was working that he thought it had been removed, so. it
Well, that was
wasn't an
approved
issue.
before 2021. When was that planned? The whole, anyway.
All right, I see where the problem is. We
Yes.
gotta clean it up.
Yeah, I think.
If it does exist, the original comment in here. If it exists, and we got all this language from it. If it doesn't, we just strike all of this.
I guess so. I mean, it seems like people want to talk about the water quality corridor. It's funny because it's east of the village and west of the village, and that is north of the village. So they didn't really take into account Brewery Creek in this part of the plan. They did,
I think they talked about it later down.
yeah.
In the stream protection.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So thanks.
I think it's worth a discussion, and I think then we, the commission and the board has to have, you know, if it's there, I think we revisit it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Not an automatic strike either way.
No, agreed.
And we may have to punt on this for the time being.
Yeah.
So, okay, so moving down the steep slopes there, how was it?
Is that up or down?
Oh, existing village policy prior to planning documents prohibit development. Is there any feeling that the commission would want to change our current ordinances regarding steep slopes? I know we just approved one that was, an exception to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't personally want to, but this is, if we're gonna do it, this is the time to have that discussion.
No, I agree. I'm kind of, I'm with you of protecting them yet, but I do believe that there are circumstances where you can modify, and while we did that here, it's not like we're running up halfway up the hill or anything like that. Yeah, I think that would be a hard sell. I think most people still want to keep, you know, the slopes open. We don't want to look like a California where houses on, you know, steeples and everything like that, you know. That's my feeling. I think that would be a hard sell.
Anybody else want to revisit this or just
Well, so
move on?
for this, if it is, all I'd say consensus, it's policy, so right now it's a policy. So I would say it's our policy. And when it says it's policy prior to plan adoption. See why that changes after it's happened.
I thought all the natural resources goals and objectives for this one and policies were pretty good, pretty straightforward, understandable. Maybe that's what they're working this business, but I felt like they're pretty good. The first policy though, was develop proposals within the, so extraterritorial jurisdiction shall not approve unless the compliance of the village cross plains regulatory tools, including what elements to zoning. I don't ever recall turning down any extraterritorial.
Not turn it down, but we modified them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did Myers Farm, we did a modification there. So it's pretty rare because a lot of them that we've gotten lately have been where someone just did divide one lot into two or change the driveway. I'm trying to think, you know, that's been, most of it is just driveways and putting another lot in. And like the last one I can remember that we modified and we did it right at the meeting with Myers.
Myers, what about Lochner's that we did down in Garfield? Would that be considered this? Maybe not. No, we changed their driveway or something. We did something.
Oh, yeah, but that's inside the building.
Okay.
That's
okay.
not outside.
You're right.
Hey, okay, good. So, there's not, I don't really have too much else in here except to add this part about rec, under rec.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to, I'll make it look like these other ones and maybe with some, bullets about, objectives and policies. I don't think it'd be as long as it was.
What page are you on now, Kevin?
I'm just scrolling down to my comments, so I should probably stop.
Well, I just have a question on 27, unless you've already, we're not there yet.
So it's 27th page. All right, 27. Go ahead.
You have the question on, one, to continue to maintain and enhance village trail sidewalk and bike system as an alternative to automobiles. You agree with it, but maybe add, oh, you just want to move this section.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha, okay, all right.
And then mine was the one right below it where it says discourage versus disallow. How do we feel about that? Do we want it? I mean, I feel like if we disallow, then we absolutely cannot.
Right,
Where if we just discourage, we still gives us some wiggle.
and I can tell you, we've already done this once. If you look at the old Winger Quarry, when they were moving dirt, they found that there was more gravel there. So we ended up, and by then they were already in the village. So we allowed them to go in and blast that out and take out, I don't know how many. So, I mean.
This is new mineral extraction, that was the part that got.
Well, that one was closed and they had moved, and then when they were doing their development and stuff, they had run into it. I don't know, I guess if we would call that already there, then I'm fine with that, but Judy's right, when you say disallow, that means there's really no option.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if something would come up that, I don't know,
Okay, anybody else?
I'm not gonna fight over it.
I have a suggestion for you. Anyone actually, is you have, page, page. You asked if there was better language to use for a particular sentence within a paragraph. There's a tool called Goblin Tools.
Talking to a non-tech savvy guy.
Oh, you better than me, man, I can never do
All right,
that.
go ahead.
Goblin Tools.
Okay.
And there's several sections within Goblin Tools, but Formalizer you can take a sentence or a paragraph or a thought, and you can make it more professional, less professional. It's really a very good tool. If you have the idea, but you don't know how to put it into words, it helps you put it into words. And then even then you can still change it, afterwards, but it's a very, very good tool when you just are stuck trying to figure out the right thing to put, because
And it's called Gobble?
Goblin,
Oh, Goblin.
yeah,
I wrote it down, Jay.
Gobble, what the heck? All right.
Here's the example. The sentence was, the village will strongly scrutinize any development proposal in this area to ensure that it does not adversely impact the Black Earth Creek or the village water supply. I put that in the Goblin Tools. It came up with, the village will carefully evaluate all development proposals in this area to ensure that they do not negatively affect Black Earth Creek or the village water supply. Does a nice job. I use it a
Oh, I
lot.
got it saved.
Yeah, wow, okay.
I use it a lot.
Judy's just gonna put her whole.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, so
Comment on the number 13 policy,
yeah, what page?
sorry, 20, yeah, 20. I kind of get the sidewalk. Like system one is not being in there, trail system, I wonder if it just needs. Like still keeping that in there, because the one goal we have in this section is to preserve natural features and entities. And conserve natural resources, and I view the trails as natural resource entity.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, but I agree, the sidewalk, that's more of a transportation. Or maybe you take out the part as an alternative to automobile, this part.
Off-road trail.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's part of research. I had that. 27, 28. Okay,
Put in for 29.
29, I'll put that right part in the bottom. And then we have to update maps. That's it.
Yeah, very good.
What else?
Oh, no, cultural resources.
Exactly.
that's good.
I think I will put, yeah, recreation in front of cultural. I didn't have any changes to cultural.
Yeah, no, it's even. No, very good,
Okay,
yeah.
so I will bring a second version back. I'll try to get it to folks sooner than 3 days or.
You did great, Kevin.
Yeah, you did a really nice job. All right, we don't need to take any action on this. So 4, discussion and possible action regarding September Plan Commission meeting date. I thought we had moved it to the 3rd or the Tuesday, no?
I'm
I
not
had it in
sure.
I had it on my calendar, I don't know if anybody else did, or is that
If
just?
it's not on my phone, then it doesn't
Yeah.
mean you did.
It might have been talked about, but I just,
I think we, I
Okay,
remember a discussion.
I don't know.
okay. It went on my calendar.
Or I was thinking of
In any event, so we're doing it.
Does Tuesday work for everybody?
But the,
Yes, yes.
Right, I guess I'm up and I gotta follow him.
But
I got
Tuesday the 3rd.
I got chapter 3.
Why is it?
Back to school, yeah.
I think I start coaching soccer, high school soccer again, so I will be. I may be like cutting it short, or close to be here, but.
Understood, I'm doing football, so I can get right at the last minute.
All right.
Judy's so right that I'm all sweaty when I get here, but.
I was sweating.
All righty, so we're due, is it the 3rd, that Tuesday? I think it is, yeah. All right, so then, we'll do September 3rd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. All right, thank you. Good meeting. What's that?
It's not starting.
Why, yeah, I think it's gonna be later. I just hope we don't get 3 inches. They're talking